Hello. There you go. It's better. I want to sit it up here. There you go. What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh my gosh. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, that's what I was supposed to do. The one other thing I was supposed to do, put on some music so I could have some like easy background music. Do I want to do that? I really don't feel like doing that. We ain't about to have no background music today. It's okay. We don't need that. I'm the music. I am the music. And to be honest with you, as much as I do like background music, a lot of times, sometimes it can be distracting, even if it's the softest music. Sometimes I'm like, I can't get the message. It's too much music going on. Like, the music is distracting me from the message, especially when the music isn't like matching the vibe of the message as much, you know? So, yeah. Anywho, I love these like bubble random thoughts when I drop into these lives. But welcome to Embodied Spirituality. My name is Ashante Marie. I am your co-host with the Most Divine, the Most High. This is where Spirit, the Most High, likes to have a conversation with you, me, and thee. Okay. As much as I'm here to share, there is a piece of me that's also here to learn. Right? Willing to listen, willing to hear the messages that God is trying to provide for me um, in the midst of it all, right? Because sometimes it's in between lines. Sometimes he'll drop words into my system, and I say he just for convenience, okay? So don't get it twisted. Um, drop words into my system that or phrases that I'll say to you guys that I'm like, I haven't even had the time to think about it, or the whole jazz. So the first message of today, and we'll probably get into it a little bit more later once I like intro this more. But the first message is about answering the call, and if you're willing to answer the call. So before we jump in, I want to make sure that I read this prayer, okay, and then we'll drop in a little bit more. So here we are. Ancestors, guides, and angels, the greatest good of all involved, higher self and source, thank you. Thank you for this day and for the air, and thank you for this day and for the air that for the air and the breath that fills my lungs. I am so grateful. Thank you for the opportunity to be before the tribe as well as those looking for a tribe, and the gift of being able to deliver messages to the community as well as to myself. I pray that the Most High uses me as a conduit to spread the good word, and the good word is love. I pray that I share only what is needed and necessary, and that the viewers receive what is meant for them, leave the things that don't resonate, and that they have the wisdom to know the difference. In this space, we are protected. In this space, we remember who our wholeness and who we are. In this space, we share love with one another, healthily and wholeheartedly. In this space, we find a sense of peace. And so it is. Ashe. So yeah, welcome. I hope you're here. Um, don't mind my energy. It may be like peaking, like spiking and whatever a little bit, peaking and valleying a little bit. I am currently in the middle of a new fast or a cleanse. And a lot of times when people say fast or cleanse, or I wouldn't say a lot of times, I would say, well, maybe I will say a lot of times, but um, generally, that's what I want to say. Generally, when people are saying that they're fasting, it's usually like food related fasting, right? Or like sometimes it can just be fasting from habits, which is what I am in currently right now. So a couple weeks ago, I just finished up like a cleanse fast that was around eating and food and stuff, and it's something that I do regularly. I'm a part of a group, a tribe that my sister runs that does cleanses, and it's like a smoothie cleanse. But it's kind of a hybrid cleanse too, so it's kind of whatever you feel will resonate with your body at the time of the cleanse. And a water fast is generally involved in it, for me at least. And yeah, so it's different things. So I did that cleanse a couple weeks ago. Feel good, you know. Sometimes I'm more committed than others, and this time I felt a little bit more committed, and I was more at ease. I want to say sometimes it can get so rigid that it doesn't allow ease in the midst. And like, granted, there's certain things that needs to be uncomfortable in order for growth to happen, but sometimes we be doing too much and not able to actually like complete the designated time that we've given to whatever task or fast that we choose. So let's, I don't know how I want to get into this. I want to like say everything at once. Like I just want to bloop what's in my brain and just insert, insert. So, and I'm gonna practice not saying in this video as much. I don't know how good I'm gonna be at that. But my lips are looking dry to me, so that's distracting. Oh, if you haven't, it's 6 minutes in. Let me let y'all know. Disclaimers. I don't really have none today. I may cuss a little bit. Very minuscule to what it feels like. I don't even feel like I have that much energy to cuss, to be honest with you. um, Other disclaimers. I may talk about things that are a little bit uncomfortable towards the end, but nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. So I will encourage you to go, if you haven't already, grab your tea, grab your water, grab coffee, grab a snack, grab some popcorn, grab whatever else you need to kind of like chill and be able to listen to this message and receive this message for what it is. So I got my tea going on. Okay, can you see the steam? Oh, you guys can't see the steam that much. Oh, now you can. Ooh. Can't do it this way. Anyways, there's heck of steam, more than what you guys can see. But today, what's on my tea menu today? I only really drink so many teas, to be honest with you. I'm very particular. Like if I was at like a place, right? Because I did a retreat years ago, where they had like so many varieties of tea, and so I could just like pick and choose and play around and dance around. But honestly, even in that game, I'm like, give me the ones that I like, because I don't know about this other stuff. Okay, but the one I got today, and I am using my cute mug, my favorite mug. One of them. I got so many favorite mugs. I may be ranting a little bit too. This fast cleanse, this is like day one, but I can since the ebbs and the flows of what normal was to like what new normal was gonna be, at least for the next 10 days. And it like throws me a little bit because one moment I'm like, that energy, I want to say something, and the other energy, I'm like, or like the next moment, like literally the next moment, I'll be like, I'm so exhausted, I'm a little tired, I need to rest. So I'm really trying to keep this video short. I pray that spirit helps me to keep this video shorter than the other videos have been, um, so that I can get some rest and take care of the things I need to take care of, because I do have an early wake up in the morning. Tea. So the tea that I am drinking is eucalyptus with spearmint and honey. Of course, I always add honey. That's me. Needed it. I was gonna make me some hibiscus tea today because if you've been here, you know. But all the fixings wasn't together, or all the tools and stuff that I needed over there wasn't all the way together. And I'm, like I said, working with limited energy, so it's like being very selective about what you're gonna do. Let me jump in. Because it's already trying to come out. So when you're fasting, right? There's this level of like whatever it is, whether it's a habit, whether it's food or something like that, it's like you then become, because there's so much energy focused on, you know, keeping the promise of the fast. Uh, Sorry, my trains of thoughts keep like jumping. Um, and I don't even know if I'm gonna keep this video up at this point because like my brain going in and out bothers me, because a piece of me is so worried about like people's interpretation of me and whether or not I feel smart or am I engaging enough or um, yeah, attention spans be short. So if I get a little lost in the sauce for a hot second, are you gonna still be there, sort of thing? And that's why I'm feeling the type of way that I'm feeling when I lose my trains of thought. But there's something that happens when you fast that you have to be selective about your energy. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, because I needed that. You have to be selective about your energy. What are you giving it to? What can you give it to? And what you need to reserve your energy for in another department. So I know that I wanted to do this video. I know that I got some other stuff to take care of after I get off of this thing. I got to finish some kale chips. I still got to eat dinner. I need to, get myself together, do nighttime routine stuff so that I can be up for 4:30 in the morning, or 4 really, because I need to be up at 4 so I can be better. A little bit better on my time management too, right? Always trying to improve yourself, right? And I'm not late, but I don't like the potentiality of tardiness sometimes, because that's anxiety ridden, right? If you're running late, you guys know when you're running late to something that you really need to be there for, or especially when somebody's about to pay you some money for, you're like, oh, I gotta get there, I gotta get there. You're like, I gotta go. But that anxiety is wild. Versus like if you prepare yourself early enough, leave out of house early enough, maybe plan your outfit the day before, whatever it is, do the troubleshooting before, to where the day of, the morning of, the whatever of, you can, you know, operate at optimal, And that was another thing that was coming up for me. I'm going to be jumping around today, so bless. Having better systems in place. That's been something that's been on my mind a lot, but I haven't like parsed through that enough in my mind. I just know, or what that looks like for me. I know that I need to shift my situations by shifting the systems that I have in place or adding systems into place. So that's something on my mind. Maybe we'll get back to it. But fasting and answering the call. So how did we get here? How did I get to like, I'm about to do this other fast sort of thing, right? So I brought out an intention candle the other day and I sat it on my altar, but I hadn't lit it yet because I was like, okay, when I light this candle, I want to make sure that I set a good intention around it, and I want to be present. I don't want it to just be like a flippant, I hope all goes well, or like, everything is always working out for me. And then like, but maybe I should put that under a candle and see how that works out. But the so last night when I was like urged to, it was like, today would be a good day to light the candle. And I said, all right, bet. And mind you, Diwali was yesterday too. Um, and that's an Indian, Hindu, like more from India, Indian, okay, celebration. It's the Festival of Lights. You guys can Google it, look it up. But I have respect for Diwali. I have respect for any holiday, really, but especially the ones that, or most, I mean, the ones that I know about. But yeah, I like all the holiday, the celebrations, especially in this season. Something special about like the Festival of Lights going into Halloween. That's so like whatever people want to like. Oh, it is spooky time, but it's like I have so many thoughts about it, but I'll keep that to myself right now because that's not what this is about. Then we have Halloween that has its, impressions on people. And then You have like Dia de los Muertos, which is a kind of similar vibes, and then you have like All Souls Day. So to me, or All Souls Day and then Dia de los Muertos, I believe, because I think it goes Halloween, All Souls Day, Dia de los Muertos, or girl, don't quote me. Look it up yourself, okay? I could be wrong. It's all in the 3 days, right? It's like November. It's Halloween, the very last day of November or October. Then the very first 2 days of November. Those other days that I was talking about, All Souls or Dia de los Muertos, right? They're really the same. But I try not to be too. I try not to conflate the two, so it's easier for other people who might celebrate one but not the other. That's how I say it. I like when spirit comes through and gives me the more political way to say things when I need it to be said that way, right? Because, we can all have our levels of crassness, of being real, right? But you can be real without having to be crass. And it's a skill. It's a sport to be fair. Um, so I was like getting into lighting the candle yesterday. And I was like, all right, well, let me write my intention. So I grabbed a note piece of paper and I was kind of in the space of being able to like lock into what I wanted to write. So I wrote 2 pages. And one of them, or one of the things, or some of the things that come up that I wrote down was just about like letting go of the things that no longer serve me, and to get clarity, to get clarity, to get clarity, you know, around different things in my life, plus a number of other things that I wrote on the list. Um, And I probably had watched a video where somebody was like, oh, spirit is calling you to, let go of something. Oh, and it was like a good reader, somebody I've been watching for like probably 10 years. Um, she was like, spirit is calling you, to let go of something or to reevaluate something in order for you to step into a newness, um, or to attract something that you have been wanting but has been kind of staved off. I love that word, right? Staved off, and not save, stave, STAVE, staved off. You guys need the definition. Let's look, God. That's hard. Now I can't remember the sentence I was saying. Girl, I'll tell you. I don't know what this memory bank is today, but anyways, to stave, because when if you Google just stave, it's not going to say the thing. It's going to say something like a staff. Okay. But when you use like the phrase to stave off something, it means to avert or delay something bad or dangerous. Um, to me, to keep something away, to you know, to avert or delay something bad or dangerous. So to whatever sentence I was trying to say, finish the sentence. Now that you have the Google word, I promise you, when I tell you my insecurities about keeping this video up is real, I'm trying to work through it. I'm trying to push through and be like, it's okay, Ashante. Nobody's gonna judge you that hard. Okay, God. So I set my intentions, right? And I kind of had this energy of like, I know I need to probably do a fast or a cleanse from something. And, I always have like the high idea of like what I should. And even earlier in this week, I was like, okay, well, first, maybe it's just going to be, lessening what videos or what type of videos I'm watching or what videos I'm watching around a certain topic, along with, um, you know, anything on television, trying to just be like mindful of that. I can have like a little bit of entertainment time, but really like trying to keep that to a minimum too. And just to kind of like re-regulate again, to re-regulate. And so after I did the intention and I sat in my bed and I was like journaling and stretching a little bit, as I was journaling, this phrase came up and I was like, okay, God, what does that even mean? The phrase was like, the phrase was the phrase. How about that? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And when I even like, and so here's the thing, if you say that you hear a message and you feel like it's God, right? The Most High, your divine, the ancestors, whomever, right? In that category, in your spirit team category. If you ask, or if you hear a message and you're unclear about the message, like there are ways to go about it. You can just ask yourself, like, oh, what does that mean? Or ask the divine that's within you, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? But what helps me over here around this part of the universe is journaling and being like, so whatever the phrase was, I wrote it down. Then I was like, well, what does this mean? Right. So I like just translated one of the words because I was like, the word aid was there. Right. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And so then I started to think about the words that I would associate with the word aid, like help, tool, medicine. You know what I mean? And so then I was like, could that be, is spirit trying to lean into me fasting from this thing? And I was like, it was almost like I don't even know if I want to hear. Like I don't even know if I want to hear it. You know? But because my curiosity just was like, I need to know and I want to know. I kept asking and I got clarification. And it was pretty much just like, yes, we want you to fast from this. And then, and I was like, okay, well, when, and I was asking like parameters around it. But it was very like, they were like, yes, this. And then they were like, pronto, like tomorrow pronto. Like it was 11:30 at night, like 30 minutes from now tomorrow. That's what the message was. Like you need to pause this by tomorrow. Like, and it was like exclamation point. It was like there was no mistaking what was going on. And then so I was like, okay. I was like, bruh, but like, are you sure, God? Because like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could do this. And the reason why I was feeling like that was because out of all the cleanses and out of all the fasts that I've done in the last 6 to 7 years, the particular fast that God was asking me, the divine asked me to participate in, I hadn't done. So I'll go 3 days without eating some food, okay? And just be on a water fast, okay? I'll go so many days without like drinking or whatever, right? I'll go however long about watching TV or doing whatever. You know what I mean? But this particular thing, I have not been taking that much of a break from. Maybe a day, maybe 2 days, maybe I'll lighten the load because before, if I did do a fast that was around that thing, it was kind of more so lightening of the load of it, where it's like okay, maybe you may visit or do this thing like 4 to 6 times a day, to be fair. 4 to 6 times a day. Say you do this thing 4 to 6 times a day. I've been through fasting periods where it's been like, okay, well, let's lessen it to 2 or 3. Sometimes I've even done where it's been like 1. Now, how long, how many days does that last for? Like 5 maybe. But I haven't done like a long cold turkey type fast with this thing. And I'm like, I don't know, but I use it partially for medicine. And I think that's why the word aid came up, where it's like, okay, don't just keep using the thing that you call medicine as medicine, because maybe it's not providing you the actual medicine. And even when we think about that, when you think about like, sometimes you take certain medication and after so long, it stops working or it stops being as potent because your body has regulated to having it, or consuming it, whatever it is. And so maybe it helps, maybe it guides, but it's not like as potent as it was when you first began, right? And so last night when I was given the message of like, nope, it's this thing that you hadn't been wanting to fast from for, so many years, this is what I want you to fast from. And I want you to start tomorrow. You don't have a day, you don't have a fat Tuesday where you can get it out of your system. None of that shit. Like you start tomorrow. Like you start tomorrow. Like you start tomorrow. And I was like, the fuck? Like I was like, okay, well, do I get like permissions? Like say if I do it for 3 days, maybe I can like indulge for one of those moments. You know what I mean? God was like, nah, bruh. I was like, fuck. I was like, fuck. Like you really, but like where the state that I was in last night, like my energy set, as much as I was like, oh, I don't know about this, I was also very willing. Like I was very willing to listen to the call. I was very willing to answer the call. And I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it when I wake up tomorrow. Like you could be all like gung ho, yeah, of course I'll do it. Until you get into the day of needing to do it and you're like, right? So I wanted to just talk about the process of like fasting or just, the emotions that come up. Because this is, like I said, day one, right? So my energy is trying to understand what is happening. um, and like earlier, it was just interesting to me, like the different things that come up in the process of fasting, no matter what it is, no matter what it is. Of course, it's like you want it, right? Because you know you can't have it, it makes you want it more for whatever reason initially. Then there's like these different types of withdrawal moments that happen. So one moment that stood out to me earlier, well, two. Um, the first one was just like normal, what to be expected moments, right? So I wanted to partake, but like so last night, the thing that I did after being like getting a clear message, I was like, all right, God, well, if you want me to take a fast from this, and alongside these other things that I've already planned to be fasting from at the beginning of the week, I'm like, what are the things that I need? What are systems? What are tools that I need in my back pocket when those moments get hard, when those moments get heavy? Whether it's journaling, whether it's dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's breath work, right? What do I need? What are options of things that I can choose from? What's my list of things that I can choose from to partake in that helps me keep my promise to myself? So I wrote all those things down last night. So even as I had like my first moment this morning, of being like, okay, well, I really want to, I really want to, like, I really want to, like, I really want to. And I'm like, are you sure? Are we doing this? And I was like, no, we're doing this, duh. Like, because there was a piece of me that like had already like just chose, like, we're doing this. So I may be mad, or I may have a moment of being like, or get really close to being like, but it was easy. And like, let me say, this is day one. I could be feeling some type of way 3 days from now, but hopefully it's all in good. Hopefully 3 days from now, I'm feeling even better. I'm barely even thinking about the thing. 3 days. 3 days. 30 on the clock. There's something about 3 days. So we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it. The divine. If you're a Catholic or a Christian of any sort, you know, Jesus. Everything happens in 3 days. So, anyways, the second thing that happened today, and the second thing that happened today that like really was like kind of threw me off kilter for a little bit was I was going to a store, like a non-ish food store, like the Dollar Tree or whatever. But they have food there, but that's not what I was going for. I was going to the Dollar Tree to get some stuff for like props and to get stuff for Halloween. And but like on my arrival there, even on my way there, I told myself, "Oh, I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go to this bakery cafe place that's not too far because I haven't been there in like months. So I'm like, and I'm not on the other like the food cleanse one. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll treat myself to a thingy thing, a croissant, a almond chocolate almond croissant or something like that, or anything else that they make that I really like. And I was like, yeah, I should be, it should be good timing because I should be hungry enough by then. So walked into the Dollar General or Dollar Tree or wherever I went, and I was like super hungry, like super hungry. So I was like, all right, bet, let me get in and out of this store. Let me grab what I need to grab and let me go. By the time I got in my car and I was starting to drive, even before I drove off, I was like, bro, first of all, where did my appetite go? Because it kind of left. And then two, and I know I haven't eaten like that much. So I'm like, I should grab something while I'm out, um, while I have the opportunity. And so I started driving and I ended up pulling over like twice because I was like, I don't actually, when I thought about biting into the chocolate almond croissant, I'm like, my taste buds don't, even right now, my taste buds don't want it. I'm not interested. Maybe I'll have it later. Maybe I'll want it later. But like, whether it be because I had bread yesterday, whether it be whatever, like, I'm just like I don't want the feeling of my tooth or my teeth like that. Because you know how certain things create feelings in your teeth. Like if you're crunching something really hard, maybe you don't want to buy. Like there's days, maybe you love an apple most days, but some days you're like, I don't feel like chewing no apple. Or it's kale, right? Kale or like cabbage or something crunchy. And some days you're like, yeah, I'm down to crunch. Sometimes you even need the crunch. And then there's other days where you're like, I don't want to crunch shit. You know what I mean? And so with thinking about all the stuff that this bakery had, I was like, I can get that thing, and I just don't want that on my teeth. The other thing that I would get still is kind of the same thing. Then I was thinking about the other thing that takes, there's no crunch. There's no crunch. And it's like nice. And so I was like, I don't want it. Like, I don't want it. Like, everything sounds a little bit too sweet. And I just don't want it, which is so weird for me because I am somebody who generally has like a sweet tooth. I've been a baker, a custom cake baker for years, right? Back in the day, yeah. And we'll still like bake and all that stuff. But I have like a decent sweet tooth. But I definitely feel like in this last couple of months, and whether it be through these last couple of fasts, um, but like my relationship with sugar has been changing a bit, which I appreciate and I love and I'm grateful for. Um, but just like, yeah, the capacity of what I would want, I would normally be able to indulge in when it comes to sweets, I'm not even close to it anymore. Even the other day, like I bought me a little sheet cake from the Trader Joe's, you know what I mean? And it's like the good one right now that I'm trying to F up, girl. As soon as I was done with that fast, I was like, can I go over there and get my cake? But because I just got off of the fast, I was also like, I'm not trying to eat this cake in a day. And so I started to just like cut little pieces, but on it ended up taking me like a whole week to eat that when I really thought it was only going to take me like 3 days. And I was just like, wow, like it's so funny that I'm not used to having like less cravings because then I just start buying sweet shit, like bought that cake, I ended up buying something else, and I bought something else. But all of these things I'm not really eating. My friend bought me a donut because she always like brings me a donut on Friday from like the coffee club or whatever the day before, and I didn't even eat all of that donut, and I carried it around with me quite a bit. Like she handed it to me Friday morning. I came home, probably ate like half. Then I was like, well, let me take it back with me when I go back to work as like a snack. Girl, forgot about that stuff. Saw it the next day all dried up in a bag, wrapped up in its like paper towels and stuff. Girl, I had to throw that thing away. And I wasn't even mad at it. I wasn't even mad to throw it away. So yeah, fasting can definitely can help re-regulation and reevaluation of how you want to use certain things or participate with certain things in your life. And so yeah, going back to this cafe thing. I'm driving, I'm on my way. I pull over for a second because I got on the phone with my mom for a second and I was like, I really don't know where I want to go. Like, I know that there's somewhere in me that I'm still hungry, but I can't access that part of me enough to know what I want to eat. That is, within the range. Because I told my mom too, I was like, I don't want to be driving everywhere. Like I only had so many hours before I needed to go to work. I need to get something to like grab something real quick and come home so that I can get like a second before I have to go back out and then, do this whole thing because everything is, just whatever, running around. So I pulled over that one time with my mom. And then I was just like, Ashante, just go that way. Just go back. Like, even if you don't go to this bakery, you can go to this other place that's a little bit up the street from there, and you'll still get to get your coffee. Because I didn't have any coffee in my house, so I really needed, like, I wanted coffee, period. Like, I'm like, I don't care about all this stuff, but I want some coffee. So, so drove again, and then I think I pulled over one more time because I was like, "Are you sure? You sure? You sure?" And I was like, "Ashante, just go." So I finally got there, and I'm sitting in my car, still just like, okay, like I don't want, like, how did you bring yourself all the way over here and you don't want this bakery, knowing that you don't come all the way over here often enough to be like not getting what you want while you're here. But I was like, I really just don't want anything from there. Like, I don't want anything from there. Like, the sweet smell, like, it was just like turning me off. Like, I just didn't want it. Like, I just didn't want it. So ended up picking like a bagel shop. Um, that was up the street before I go and get coffee. And but before that even happened, when I was sitting in my car before I got out of my car, it made me so uncomfortable to not know what I want. It made me so uncomfortable to feel like a level of hungry, but don't know what I can eat or don't know what I want to eat. Um, and like to me, I feel like the thing that I would normally partake in, the thing that I was fasting from or am fasting from currently right now, that's something that usually helps regulate my eating. It um, helps regulate my eating. And to be transparent with you, and this is also like, continue to watch at your own discretion. I'm going to talk about some EDs in a way, right? Because I grew up 39 on the clock, because I grew up and at a certain point I developed really unhealthy relationships with food, whether before it was overeating into like under eating into like, the mixture of like eating and then not eating, like eating a lot and then like feeling guilty and not eating for so long. Like it was something that I had practiced for so many years. I'm sorry, I just have like I've been having a pain in my throat the last couple of days. And it feels like it's like connected to like an ear infection potentially. But I've been trying to mind it the last couple of days and it's like not getting all the way better. I'm hoping by tomorrow it'll feel 100. But it just keeps going through peak pain. So, uh, so with it being the thing that like usually regulates my eating. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Because I have had such a mixed relationship with food over the years, and I've done a lot of healing work around it, but it's not all the way. And I don't know if it's not all the way healed yet. And I think that at a certain level, maybe it will be. But it's not all the way healed yet. Like food can freak me out. I can be like, and it makes me want to cry even thinking about that actually. Um, yeah, I have a mixed relationship with food. Like I like food, I enjoy food, food is tasty. And yet some days food can freak me out. It can like a lot of times it can be like just meat oriented, right? Raw meat oriented where I'm like, um but even like one of the reasons why I prefer like I like cooking for myself. This makes me want to cry on this. What is this video? So it makes me sometimes like here's the thing. If somebody makes macaroni and cheese, right? I can have me a scoop of that macaroni and cheese. But if I ever think about like making macaroni and cheese myself, I have to do a lot of work around it because my brain starts to freak out about everything. And I think it's like, I can't even believe I'm on air crying like this. But sometimes it's like the ingredients freak me out. Like I don't actually eat that much cheese, but it's not like I'm like I don't eat cheese. Like I do sometimes, but I'm very selective. If I wanted to even make me a personal size of macaroni and cheese, like that is gonna be difficult for me. Like I'll do it, but I have to turn off certain things in my brain, like hard turn off, because to think about the cream that goes inside, to think about the amount of cheese that goes. That's why I haven't even made lasagna for years, right? The last like lasagna I made was probably like 5, 6 years ago. And I was even doing like veggie lasagnas. I was even doing like zucchini lasagnas. But then the cheese part started to freak me out. So of course, like carbs will freak me out after a while. Like just thinking about too many carbs, like making pasta, that doesn't freak me out. Eating potatoes, that doesn't freak me out. But if I start to think about, okay, well, I shouldn't have like bread. Bread is one of those things that freak me out. Like, not that I won't eat it, but it's like when you are, whether it be an eating disorder or whether it's like you grew up heavy your whole life and you never really wanted to be, and you do like the research or you try to do the research and look at the magazines that tell you, like, do this, don't eat this, be keto, go vegan, all of this shit, all of this shit. And you try things here and there. It can kind of fuck your relationship with food that much more. So thinking about keto, it's like carbs are devil. The devil. And then thinking about like veganism, right? Or vegetarianism, meat is the devil, right? Vegan, no cheese, then, right? And so, like for me, I have to go through a lot of 45 on the clock. I have to go through a lot of emotional dancing when it comes to preparing food sometimes, you know? And so this going into this cleanse, this fast that I chose or that God has instructed me to partake in, because that substance helped me regulate my eating and get over some of my stuff. It wouldn't make me like, it would like make me regulate my, like, okay, if I know that I've gotten to 4 p.m. in the day and I haven't eaten anything, you know what I mean? Like, and I still don't have an appetite. Like, there's a piece of me that in those other circumstances would be like, of course, partake in this thing so that you can eat because I need energy. That's the other thing that I fight on the other end of this. I need energy and I have low iron a lot of times. And it's something that I'm regulating too within myself, but it's also work. So I can't just not eat just because, like, unless I'm doing a strategic, I fasted, I prepped my body for this fast sort of thing. Like, because then you get the headaches. And then when I get the headaches, I can't produce. Then I can't sleep well. Then everything is off. And I got things to do. I got work. I got kids and adults to show up for. Like, I gotta show up for myself. And when I'm not eating, sometimes I'm not able to show up for myself. Or when I'm not normalized, I'm not able to show up for myself. So, I have been using this other thing as a helpful aid, as something to kind of regulate me in a way. But what I can honor and what I can accept about being on this cleanse right now is that because I haven't taken a break from this thing, because I haven't had 10 days of not partaking in this thing in forever, like probably forever, like damn near since I started, then I feel like maybe this is going to give me a better opportunity to have a better relationship with food, maybe because if I'm out here crying on these fucking Instagram streets or YouTube streets, like maybe that's gonna be something that's gonna come up in these next 9 days. But yeah, uh, it's so emotional. Okay, so yeah, even in the car. So that's how we got here. I was in the car and I was like, I really want this thing, or I want to eat, but I don't know what to eat, and I don't want to go here, and I don't want to go there, but I don't want to go home because I don't want to get home and be like, "Fuck, you really should have got this something from somewhere." So I was like, "No, Shanti, like pick something." But like just the confusion of what to do, where to go, what I want, like that gave me so much comfort that it even like elicited tears because it's like I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking for yeah, normalcy. 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 And I don't know what that means for me right now. You know? Okay. Because I'm trying to create a level of new normal. So we'll see how this goes in the next couple of days. The title of this, usually I jump into these videos after I give my little blurby blurbs or blah blah blahs. I usually describe or go into why I chose the title that I chose. Girl, why can't what did I just what is going on? When I tell you my brain can't today. Final hour, girl. Why couldn't I think of that? And it's the title. I was like, final what? Final what? Final what? Well, final hour by so I chose that. That's from a Vivian Green song. If you don't know who Vivian Green is, like, educate yourself because her voice is really great. I wonder if she even still makes music, though, to be honest. But it doesn't matter if she. I mean, it does. It matters whether or not she still makes music. But if whatever she made before, because this one is from her 2002 album. Oh, the album is called A Love Story. Great album. Great album. Great album. But I felt like this song was very key for this topic because I was like, God, what am I? I know I want to talk about these things, but what should this be called? Um, and then that song came on my little shuffle playlist, and I was like, it's not the most engaging title, right? Final hour, answering the call. But the song does the things for me, so that's why it is here. I kind of want to sing it a little bit, but it should. After all this crying, who knows? So we'll see what it sounds like. So it's a great song. Let's see. I loved you just too much. You own my emotions. Devoted completely. You had me. I couldn't see no one else by myself. I remained through the pain. You were all that mattered, but now I know there's better. So I walked away while it rained down my face. I turned away from the pain of hurting me. Before I go into the second verse, because I'm really about to sing that shit, um, I just needed to pause so they don't flag mine. Okay. I gave you full control, my mind, my body, soul. Confusion. Oof, I can do that better. Confusion, delusion, untruthful, unfaithful. Way down my self esteem. Never again will I give my power to be me and be free. Now I see, so I, yeah, walked away. It rained down my Okay. Anyways, quick way to end up. That song, that's like pretty much the whole song. But like if y'all heard the lyrics, did y'all hear the lyrics or was y'all just listening to me? Was y'all hearing what I was saying though? Like on top of the vocals though. You heard what I was saying? Maybe not. I'm gonna reiterate. I'm gonna reiterate. So I loved you just too much. You own my emotions, devoted completely. You had me. I couldn't see no one else by myself. I remained through the pain. You are all that mattered. I know that's better, right? That's vague. It could be a person. It could be a thing, right? But I felt like the second verse really was like, oh, this is not, this can be a person, right? But this is really about anything that you need to let go of that has been distracting you, pushing you a little bit away from yourself. Maybe it was helpful at a certain time, but maybe it's like you need to give it a hard pause or completely dead it, you know? And that can be different things for different people, whatever. But the second verse was, I gave you full control, my mind, my body, soul, right? Confusion, delusions, untruthful, unfaithful, right? Weighed down my self esteem, right? Because anything that we're trying to get rid of, anything that we're trying to let go of, we know it's no longer serving us. So somewhere in there, it's doing all of that shit or pieces of those things. Whether it be it's controlling your mind, whether it's controlling your body, maybe it's influencing your soul mission, your soul path, providing confusion. That was in my. If my prayer is about clarity, that means somewhere there must be some level of confusion where clarification needs to be, optimized. Confusions, delusions, untruthful lies, right? Lies, untruthful, unfaithful, So to me, talking about like fasting being re regulation or regulation about about re-regulation or regulation of something and reevaluation about how you're dealing with something. How's it affecting you? How is it treating you? What is it doing to your soul, your body, your mind, your spirit? What is it making you feel? And that's the same, like even if it's not this thing, like the reason why I wanted to take the fast from like certain videos was like I am watching so many of these videos that it becomes a craving, that it becomes an urge, that I'm like listening to these videos just out of habit, habitualness, right? And sometimes you need to break the habit that you don't even want to have in the first place. Like I don't want to keep watching those types of videos. Like that was not a habit I wanted to create. It was just something that became created, And especially with these algorithms out here, okay? You pick one video, then it wants to give you 20 of the same videos, which is good in some states, instances, but like at the same time, when I started to look at now my YouTube, it was literally all the same outside of the shorts, all the same type of things, all the same. And I'm like, girl, where is my other stuff? Like, what is the other stuff that I be on here for? So needed to clear that out. And even like the things that you watch on TV, like, are you watching murder mystery shows every day, every week? Are you watching a series a week? Do you know what I mean? Because then you start to think about that, and maybe that's like maybe it's a part of your life. Who am I? Who am I? Like maybe you're somebody who does like mortuary work, so watching that stuff on TV doesn't bother you or doesn't necessarily actually influence you in a negative capacity because this is a part of what you already do. So it's just like normal, you know? But say that you are like a bubbly or a happy or a light individual and you just start watching like that stuff all the time, it's going to make you feel some type of way. It's just like people don't watch the news because it's too depressing. That's facts. That's like the same thing. But we don't think about it when it comes to like our TV shows. We just think that it's entertainment because it's not real. You know? Now I'm getting hot. That's how you know spirit is working. Um, yeah, like there's times where I'm like, okay, I need to not watch any of these other shows. I need to watch only like lighthearted shows. It needs to be like a cooking show. It needs to be light, you know, light. Girl, sometimes it just needs to be a cartoon. But even like all these cartoons be like, you're in a haunted house. And don't get me wrong, I like spooky stuff. But it's just, what are you feeding yourself? And I was gonna say nursing yourself with. What are you nursing yourself with? That's crazy word choice. What are you nursing yourself with? So, yeah, not all nursing, all nurses are great. There are some that are great, and there's some that aren't. Um, but when you're nursing something, you're like feeding, right? Caring for, caring for something. Yeah, how are you caring for yourself? If you feel like you're giving, if you get to a point where you feel like the things that you're giving yourself um, is like harming you, like if I was eating a slice of cake every, like some people could, here's my thing, some people could eat a cake, piece of cake every day, right? There's this one girl baker, right? She went super viral. Her businesses have, you know, been expansively expansing. And one of her things that she would say all the time is she was like, I always have like my coffee and my cookie. Now everybody can have a coffee and a cookie every day and still look the way that she look, okay? And have a whole bakery and do that thing. But she can, you know? Um Now would I advise just any person in the world to just be having a cookie every day? I don't know. It depends on the cookie, it depends on the person. But the kind of cookie that she makes, I'm like, girl, how many calories is in one of them? You eat one of those every day? Girl, what else is in your menu plan? Girl, because I feel like I would have to eat only salad. If I'm eating one of those cookies every day, I'm eating like salad and smoothies only, which may be something that she does. Who am I? But yeah, what are you nursing yourself with? What are you feeding yourself? How are you caring for yourself? And are you doing it in a healthy way? Are you nursing and caring for yourself in a good way? Or are you putting like an old bandage on a wound, you know, like, or an insufficient bandage on a wound, right? Say if you have like, I don't know, a burn or something on your arm and you need like some gauze, but you only got one little band-aid. Like that's in, but you put it on there anyway. You try and get the corner of the burn. So maybe just in that corner won't hurt. Insufficient. It's insufficient. Insufficient funds, okay? And nobody likes that game. Nobody likes that game. So how are you nursing yourself? Are you nursing yourself with good stuff? Are you nursing yourself with good stuff? So that's my deal and jazz, right, for the week. The question though that I really wanted to ask, but are you willing to answer the call? We can all say that we want things. We can all say that, like, I want to be the first millionaire in my family. Now, what if God was like, all right, bet, I got you. You can be the first millionaire in your family. But before you become the first millionaire in your family, you have to let go of eating chips at 11 p.m. Like, even though you've been eating chips at 11 p.m., probably the duration of your life, right? I don't know. I don't know. This is just a random example. But say that that's your thing. You've been eating chips every day at 11 p.m. or after 11 p.m. every day. And God was like, we understand that you've been doing this. And that's cool and it works and it's helping. And I haven't been, I haven't been on your back about that, you know. But right now, currently, right now, in this season, I want to bless you. I want to bless you with not only the things that you ask for, but things beyond what you've asked for. But, and I'm working on that in the back, right? God is like, I'm working on that in the back, and I'm willing to give it to you. But in the meantime and in between time, can you just like stop eating those chips at 11 p.m.? Like, Yeah, it could be stop eating those chips at 11 p.m. or I need you to just take a break from chips. It could be either or. It could be a both and, right? It could be a both and. It can be okay. Just take a break from eating these chips at 11 p.m. Like you can eat chips any other time of the day. You just can't eat them after 11 p.m. Right? That can be one message, or the whole message could be, we need you to stop eating chips for a bit. Now, I might not say forever, but you need to stop eating chips for a bit. And if you once you stop eating those chips for, let me give you a couple days, good, good 10-day spot, good, so many days spot, right? Then your blessings gonna come through. Are you willing in this scenario? Are you willing? And insert if chips are not your thing, insert something that is your thing. Are you willing to answer the call? Are you actually willing to answer the call? It's one thing to get the message. It's one thing to get the message. It's one thing to hear it. It's one thing to even be able to recite it out loud. But to actually answer the call and be like, yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. It feels hard. It feels like a sacrifice. It feels like uncomfortable. If you're trying to grow, you're going to be uncomfortable. That's the message I've been trying to remind myself of, even though I know that's the truth, but also remind my students of, like, you are not growing in your comfort. Your comfort is not where you're growing at. Your comfort is comfort for a reason. So, of course, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this shit. I could definitely be like, nah, bump all of this. I don't have to listen to none of this. I'm about to watch all the shit that I want to watch. I'm going to do all the things I'm going to do and just be living my life. But then, as much as that can be temporarily satisfying, maybe 5 days down the road, I'm gonna be depressed. I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna feel some levels of maybe even worthlessness. Nobody wants that. See, boy, you know. But you can be feeling like that. But why? Why are you feeling like that? Because you didn't regulate the shit that God told you. Maybe you need to regulate. Like in this department, in this area, you need to regulate. And if you listen, I'll bless you. If you don't listen, you choose. Now, if you don't feel better because you didn't choose to listen to answer the call, that's your choice. Because God says you have free will. You have free will. But everything has a reaction. Everything has what do you call a consequence in a way. But I don't even want to use those words because that brings up like negative connotations. But everything has like the appropriate response. Okay. And if you choose one road, you're going to get a certain response. If you choose a different road, you may get a different response. Now, if you choose a third road that's somewhere in between there, who knows? It may be a crapshoot. Maybe God is like, I'll bless you in this way, but I can't bless you this way because you didn't do it all the way. You know what I mean? And it's not about being perfect. It's not about being perfect because there's definitely fasts and cleanses that I've done where it's like, it's not complete abstinence. It's maybe like, we see you're trying your hardest. We know that this is really difficult for you. So if you know, needed to eat that piece of chocolate right there, then it's okay. Like, even example, prime example. I was like, I don't know if I really want to do the water fast this time around while I was on this cleanse, right? But because I'm the one who introduced water fast into that group, there's a piece of me that's always like, oh, I gotta do it. And not just gotta, but a piece of me prefers doing a water fast sometimes because it's less decision making. That's why I don't mind doing a water fast because of obviously my relationship with food is all a little skewed, but it also like gives me a break. It gives me a break from having to be like, what do I want to eat? is eating good for me? You know what I mean? Can I eat these things or not these things? You know, like it takes away that decision making a little bit, so I have more time to focus on other shit. Um, how do we get here? I keep always, you know, what's distracting is when I look at my notes that doesn't say the thing that I was just saying that would keep me on track. I feel like I need like a probably a thing that like writes, probably AI, that like writes out what I'm saying while I'm saying it, so at least I can like go back. What was I saying? Oh yeah, that. Um, are you willing to answer the call though? If God calls you and you've been asking, you've been praying for a miracle, you've been praying for change, you've been praying for a blessing, you've been praying for clarity, right? And God is like, bet, I got you. Bet, I got you. Can you just like take a break from this? Can you do this? Or and sometimes it's not only just like taking a break from things. Sometimes it's just like including new things. Maybe it's you need to can you just sit with your altar every day? I'll be with you. I'll talk to you. Can you sit with your altar every day? Can you make sure it stays clean? Can you go for a walk every day? Can you, I don't know, make sure you call a family member 3 times a week? Whatever it is that they, maybe it's a new habit that they're encouraging, or the spirit, that spirit or your guides are encouraging. Um, and they're like, just incorporate this new habit and we got you. Like, blessed beyond measure, got you, sort of thing. Um, so yeah, I think one thing that's getting me through, that's gonna continue to get me through this week and a half of this cleanse and fast or whatever, is even that promise in itself. To know that at the end of this, I'm gonna be blessed. Okay, now it can look different from the outside versus what may be feeling, what's going on inside, but I am very clear at the fact that this cleanse is going to provide insights, clarity, and gifts, right? And blessings. Like I know, I know, right? So, because even last night, the other like phrase that came up while I was like in my journaling stage of like, okay, we really about to do this, and I've kind of already settled into the fact of like, all right, we about to do this. God had said something like a gift that keeps giving, the gift that keeps the gift that keeps giving, a gift that keeps giving, or something like that. And I was just like, all right, I'll take it. And then even I was watching a video today from somebody else who was kind of just like on the tip of what I've been on. She was just like, yeah, you may need to, you know, let go of certain things. And I, mind you, I've already started this cleanse. Maybe you need to let go of something or walk away from something so God can bless you. And I was just like, interesting time to listen to this video as I chose blah blah blah. Um, but yeah, she was just like, God is really just like about to do the thing. It's okay. So I'm here for it. I want the blessings. I don't know about you, but me over here, over here, I want the blessings. I want the promises. I want the miracles. Okay. I want the showering of abundance. I want the clarity. I want the tools. I want the practice. I want the focus, you know? So if that means I need to just take like 10 days, and it's 10 days, bro, what are you willing to give up for 10 days? Is there anything? Are you willing to give up something that feels uncomfortable for you to give up for 10 days? Are you willing to do it for 10 days? I have all the faith in you. I have all the faith in you. So if there's something that you want to cleanse or honor, and I probably will tell you exactly what it is in a couple of days. I'm just trying to get through this first day without feeling distractions from the things. If you can put together what I'm taking a break from, then good for you. But I'll talk about it more later, maybe next week, maybe later this week, but maybe next week. So drop in the chat something that you want to take a break from, or something better yet, maybe because you don't want to tell everybody your business, right? About like maybe something that you want to like let go of, but maybe it's some new habit, a new habit I want to create. Like maybe it's just making your bed every day, right? I do that pretty much every day, anyways. But maybe it's being more diligent about making your bed every day. Maybe it's getting on the floor and stretching. Like we want you to stretch every day. Like whatever your goal is, whatever habit that you're either trying to create or let go of, drop it in the chat. And maybe just if you want to, you can drop one of each. Something that you want to let go of and something that you want to incorporate in its place. Because that's kind of a cool way to do it. It was ones and fives on the board. Ones and fives. Okay. I think there's only one more thing that I want to talk about, and then I'm about to be off of here. I'm pretty sure. The word, and this is maybe just to parse it out a little bit. The word manipulation has been coming up for me. And not just manipulation, but like the word manipulate, right? Fasting. I knew fasting was going to come up for me this week, not only with the TV, but because I had a conversation. Remember, the last video I made was like, oh, doing this work and blah, blah, blah. And I was talking to this guy who made me like drop into like, oh, we're in our energy healing mode right now. All right. That's where we're at. We're dropping it. And he started to share, certain things that, you know, first of all, most people wouldn't share with other people, let alone a coworker, let alone with the topics that they were talking about. So I knew I was like in energy space because they were like, and I was like, oh, okay. But he had said that he was like partaking in certain things. Um, that he knew that there was, here's how I'm going to set up. He knew that there was like um, a dysregulation with one thing, but he also knew that he was partaking in something that can influence that deregulation of the other thing. And he was like, I should probably, and I was like, you're you're right. Fasting is always a good thing. And even saying that statement, I kind of knew that I like was talking myself into some sort of fast like that. Like I was, and that was like 4 days ago. I was just like, yeah, fasting is always a good thing. Fasting always helps. You and yeah, then it was like, all right, Ashante, what is it? What do they say? I don't know. All those like cliche statements. It's like not only just like walking the walk, not talking the talk, but walking the walk also, right? Something along those lines. So it was like, all right, you saying this stuff, you about that. And I'm like, God, it was almost like a test a little bit, or like a tease, from spirit, like, haha, you talking about this, you about that life or no? And I was like, look, God, I'm about that life. About that life. And it was funny because I was like, all right, well, maybe it's gonna be the fast of just this thing. Mind you, God had another plan and told me something else yesterday. And I said, all right, good. I guess we just gonna be in here like this. And 10 days I can do. I can hold on for 10 days. Okay, I can hold on for 10 days. And hopefully by the 10 days is over, like I'll just be in a different place of how I'm making certain decisions. So even if I do choose to partake or even whatever it is, or reindulge or whatever it is, then I can do so with a level of clarity, with a level of balance, with a level of re-regulation to know how I want to incorporate it into my life. Because in 10 days, your whole shit is shifted. You're low key a whole new person. You're low key a whole new person. When you're doing like some sort of level of cleanses and fasts and stuff that really has to do with what you're inserting or what's coming out of your body, one or the other, like you really have the ability to change your life in such a short period of time. So look, God, I'm excited. And considering the messages and the little boop, boop, boop downloads that I was getting today about what this could potentially be around or what potential, reward I can get from this cleanse, I'm like, let's go, spirit. But manipulate. So that word came up for me last week because I was like Googling, the traits of a certain sign. Let's say it like that. The traits of a certain sign. And this was like the male part, but they were like, oh, one of the things to just like be mindful of is that they can be good manipulators in a way, or they, in their unhealthy state, they can be good manipulators. And I was like, manipulation, like that's such a word. And considering that sign is the same as my sign. um, and I'm pretty sure that word is probably somewhere on my in my little bio too, right? That says that I could probably be good as a manipulator too if I needed to. I was just like, yeah. But I'm like, I also have chosen to. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this word is because I do feel like it has like a negative connotation all the time, because we're all trying to break some of these fuck shit ass cycles that we've been in, whether it's manipulation, whether it's gaslighting, whether it's breadcrumbing, whatever the bullshit is that we're trying to distance ourselves from when it comes to relationships. If you've been in those type of relationships before, if you haven't, thank God and pray that you stay away from them. Okay. um I was just like, I didn't really like seeing that word, and I was like, I didn't even necessarily fully like that it would have been something that they would have put on, could have, should have, would have, could have, should have, would have put on my little astrological bio or whatever. But even last week when I was thinking about that, I was just like, well, if I do, I probably use my skills for good, which I do. And then today, or in the last couple of days, just like the thought um, of the word in itself was just like, oh, because I was watching another show that's like an airporty show, but they were putting in a new stairwell into this airport, and they had to like block off all these things. It's like coming in from a drop crane or some shit like that. And in the process, they had to like manipulate the stairwell to fit in there properly. Then in another scene, it's like these engineers were changing out um, the engine of a plane, and there's multiple people in the thing, and they have to be so precise with the leveling of it before they pull it out, to where it's like they'll be like, okay, the person in the back, you have to crank it one more, crank two less, crank three over there, to where they're like doing it. They said it's like millimeters of differences. But they're doing all of this thing that takes like hours, right? To do. And I was like, wow, like, first of all, that's a lot of work. Second of all, how skilled is that? That's crazy. Third, I really wonder how long did it take them to actually like take one out and put one in? Like, how quickly could they do that? Well, um, like, is it 2 days? Is it one full day? What is? Because they were like, oh, we got to take this out to get this plane back in service, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But even in that, I'm like, they're manipulating the gears, they're manipulating the height, the whatever, right? The leveling of all of these things. So I was just like, manipulate is not necessarily really inherently a bad word. It's not. Like, I know that just off top, right? So I was just like, all right, let me Google it. Even right before I got on this thing, I was like, well, let me Google it. Okay. Google Translate. Okay. And the first definition that pops up on here is to handle or control a tool, mechanism, etc., typically in a skillful manner, right? And it's a verb, by the way. To operate, to handle, like all of those words, alter, edit, or move. And the last thing is that doesn't matter. It's just one of those like extra examples. So that was the first That's the first definition. And I was like, that's accurate. To handle or control typically in a skillful manner, because the other reason why the word manipulate came up is I've been saying, or there's been a phrase that's been coming out that's been like, of me, that's been like, I know how to get people to do what I need them to do when it comes to skating. Like, I'm a really great coach. I'm a really great coach. I'm also really good at, like, I'm a good tutor. I'm a good teacher. I'm good at breaking things down for people to understand. So technically, I really do use my manipulation skills for good. Like, maybe there are some ways I don't be 100% Angelville, but but like, generally I use that. If that is a huge part of my trait, like my astrological trait bio, I am using my, like, I know how to break things down. I know how to tell people how to use their bodies in a way for them to manipulate themselves into doing a skill really well. So I don't know why God really wanted me to bring it up, but for me, I just feel like we need to we need to start demystifying some of these words that we're using, so that when we do use them in a certain context, we can be very clear that we're using it in that context, but not necessarily trying to demonize or demonize a word that doesn't mean all of the other thing. Now, don't get it twisted. The second definition for manipulate is to control or influence a person or situation cleverly, unfairly, or unscrupulously. Why is that word so hard to say? It's hard to say while reading. Nope, it's hard to say regardless. Nope, that's what we're doing today. Anyways, but to me, I feel like we could even take the first part and take off the unfairly, right? Take off the unscrupulously. Unscrupulous? I can't say that fucking word. It's so funny. 127. It's all good. Yeah. So in the first definition that I gave you, the synonyms were like to operate, to work, to handle, to control, to use, to employ, to utilize, right? Then when we get into the second definition, it gives me synonyms of to exploit, right? Control in a bad way, right? Because control can be control or it can be control, right? But to maneuver, engineer, I knew engineer was a manipulation synonym. I knew it. Steer, direct, guide, work, orchestrate, and choreograph, right? All of that, right? Um, so yeah, kind of like breaking down the words a little bit. And I feel like if you're out here calling people like he's such a manipulator or they're such a manipulator and these people manipulate, and we try to like we try and make it seem, I know I've done it, when we try and make it seem like it's a them and not a us. They do it, we don't do it. And I'm like, nah. If you tie your shoes, you manipulate the strings. Did you catch that? In the back. If I put my hair in a bun, I just manipulated my hair and the hair tie to do something I needed it to do. You know what I mean? So maybe, because I really don't know why God really wanted me to talk about this, but I felt like I needed to talk about this. I felt like that was the main. I came in here when I knew I was going to make a video. That was like the first topic on the list. Fasting and answering the call came a little bit later. But manipulation and the word manipulate was something that I needed to talk about to brief for you guys. And yeah, maybe it's just demystifying the word, you know, or taking the charge out of the word. I feel like that's really important for us in general, is to start taking some of these charges, like the charged energy out of the word. So one, it doesn't have any control, but two, that it doesn't have any influence, because the word manipulate, if you just think that it's so negative, that word in itself, the word manipulation has already manipulated you. Okay? If you just think that manipulation is just a bad thing, The word manipulation has manipulated you, okay, into being unclear. But you can manipulate somebody into clarity in a way. And it sounds crazy to say, but you can. You can manipulate somebody into clarity. Maybe that's what God is even doing. That maybe that's how we got here. That's how we got here. We're talking about fasting and answering the call. And if God is calling you to do something, to change, to shift something, right? In order for you to be blessed and highly favored, you know, in more ways than just one, like that's a level of control. That's a level of manipulation. That's a level of like what's the other good synonym word? Handle, use, employ, utilize, work. That's another way to utilize. Ooh, come on, spirit. That's another way for God to help you utilize your tools, your gifts, your energy towards another thing or other things that will better benefit you so that you can be blessed. Trying to get you to utilize different gifts, different practices. Yeah, maybe this thing helps my hunger. Maybe I just need to like schedule better. I'm gonna have to get off of here because my body is like, you gotta go, you gotta go, we gotta go. So that's what I'm leaving y'all here with. Answer the call. Go for a fast. You know, figure out what you need to manipulate, shift, change, alter in your life for you to get more clarity or to align you closer to your goals. That's all I got for you. I think God did that. Thank you, Spirit, for doing that. If you like this, if you enjoyed this, please, 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 I implore you to drop a like and drop a comment, share, subscribe, all of that good jazz. I love you. I'll see you next time. Hope to see you soon. Bye.